Welcome back to grade 7-8 French, Unité 6, le passé composé avec être. Back in semester 1, we looked at how to write sentences in the past tense by using the auxiliary verb to have, or in French, le passé composé avec avoir. Unfortunately, not all sentences can be written in the past tense with the auxiliary verb to have. So in today's lesson, we will learn a new way to write sentences in the past tense by using a different auxiliary verb. In English, we write some sentences that use the past tense of the verb to be. Here are a couple of examples. I was going to finish my work. They were not falling asleep in class. Can you think of any other examples? Try putting the video on pause so you can think of some examples in English of sentences where you're speaking the past tense and you're using the verb to be. All right, let's proceed. In French, there are some verbs which require us to use the auxiliary verb être, to be, when writing in the past tense. In the following 3 slides, we are going to look at 3 important charts that will help us conjugate verbs in the past tense. And I will give you a handout which has all 3 charts filled in, which you can use for your reference when working on activities in class or at home. All right, let's look at chart which we can use for ER verbs. If the verb ends in ER, we follow these steps. All right, as we did in semester 1, we start off with our sentence, our subject rather, starting with je, going all the way to elles. This time though, after writing the subject, we're going to conjugate the verb être. So I've conjugated être here for your reference. Now here's where things get a little more complex compared to le passé composé avec avoir. This time around, we have to consider whether the subject is masculine or feminine. We also have to consider whether the subject is singular or plural. So the following subjects can be considered masculine in certain situations. We have je, tu, and il. These are 3 cases where we can be speaking with one male individual. Of course, these are singular. So the rule is, if the main verb ends in er, we drop the er and we write e at the end of the verb. Now in the case of feminine singular subjects, je, tu, and elle all apply. So to show that's feminine and singular, the er at the end of the main verb would change to a double e. And you'll notice here that I've left these slots blank because nous, vous, ils, and elles are all plural subjects. Okay, so they don't apply to these first 2 columns. But now let's consider the case of plural subjects. So that means that je, tu, il, and elle are non-applicable because we're only dealing with plural subjects now. So in the case of male plural subjects, nous, vous, and ils could, depending on the situation, be masculine plural. So in that case, the er changes to es. For the feminine case, nous, vous, and elles are all plural. Nous and vous can be feminine as well. Elles is definitely feminine. And so in this situation, the er changes to a double es. Now I'll put the video on pause for 30 seconds and just look over this chart. Do that now. Put the video on pause. All right, I'm going to move on to the next chart, and it looks at verbs ending in RE. The nice thing is this chart coming up plus the third chart follow the same pattern. Okay, you'll notice just one change. So let's take a look at that now. All right. So in the case of RE verbs, we still write our subject, we still conjugate etre. Okay, and the cases for masculine, feminine, singular, plural remain the same. This time, though, what changes is the RE changes to a U. Okay, simple enough for masculine singular. For feminine singular, the RE would change to UE. In the case of masculine plural, it's going to be US. And then for female plural, it's going to be UES. Now you put the video on pause for about 30 seconds. Just study over this chart, and then we'll get into the last one. Okay, so the final chart is for IR verbs. And you may remember that with Passe composé from last semester, when we conjugate the verb, the IR changes to I. So you may be thinking, well, in this case, on the next chart, I'm going to see I or IE or IS or IES. If you're thinking that, you're exactly right. So let's take a look at that last chart. And there you go. Okay. Now, moving forward for the next few slides, we're going to do some practice activities. And you're going to want to have that worksheet that contains all three charts filled in handy, just so that you can refer to the charts as you're solving the problems on the next few slides. So let's get into it. Okay, going to practice writing some sentences in the past tense. For each question, we're going to make sure to use the correct conjugation of the auxiliary verb etre. All right. What we need to do with these sentences on the next couple of slides is we need to correctly conjugate the auxiliary verb etre for the first blank, and then we need to correctly conjugate the verb that's in brackets. So take a look here. Le capitaine, double blank, de sa cabine. We want it to say the captain was leaving his cabin. So le capitaine, that's il. So il est. Le capitaine is masculine singular. So that means that the IR at the end of sortir is going to change to just an I. Okay, what I want you to do is put the video on pause so that you can do the same thing with these 4 questions here. And then when you hit play, I will reveal the solutions. So put the video on pause now so you can try these activities. All right, and let's reveal the answers. We have Blanche est partie avec son oncle. Nous sommes allés en Gaspésie. And notice I put an E in brackets here because nous could be either masculine or feminine. We can't assume that we're looking at an all-male or an all-female group. So I'm just going to be safe and put the E in brackets. So this covers both the male and female cases. Here you've got ils sont tombés. Then we have Raymond est entré dans l'armée. Okay, 6 more questions of the same type. So please put the video on pause so that you can try these questions on a piece of paper. All right, and here are the answers. Toi et tes amis êtes retournés en France. Notice I'm not assuming that I'm dealing with an all masculine or all feminine group. So an extra E in brackets. Les filles sont arrivées à Québec. We've got je suis descendu du Mat. Again, I'm not assuming rather that it's a masculine or feminine person, so an E in brackets just in case. Moi et ma famille sommes allés en Nouvelle-France. Les pirates sont montés à bord. Finally, Blanche est restée dans une cabine. Alright, now let's rewrite each sentence in the negative. So as always, we put the words ne and pas in the sentence, but we put them around the auxiliary verb. So look at the example. Le capitaine est sorti de sa cabine. We're going to put ne et pas around the conjugate form of etre. So we've got le capitaine n'est pas sorti de sa cabine. So put the video on pause now so that you can rewrite these two sentences in the negative form. Alright, and it's time to reveal the answers. For the first, we have Blanche n'est pas sortie avec son oncle. And for deux, we have nous n'allons pas aller en Gaspésie. Okay, put the video on pause so that you can rewrite these sentences in the negative form. And here are our answers. If ils ne sont pas tombés dans la mer, Raymond n'est pas entré dans la mer. Toi et tes amis n'êtes retournés pas. Sorry, toi et tes amis n'êtes pas retournés en France. Les filles ne sont pas arrivées à Québec. Okay, 4 more questions or sentences. Put the video on pause so that you can rewrite these sentences in the negative. And here we go. We have je ne suis pas descendu du mat. Moi et ma famille ne sommes pas allés en Nouvelle-France. Les pirates ne sont pas montés à bord. Blanche n'est pas restée dans une cabine. And notice I missed the ne and the pas around A. All right, good job, folks. So now it is time for more practice in your cahier. I would like you to work on page 84, and then we will take it up in our next class. Until then, that concludes today's video.